Welcome back into Cougar Sports Saturday here on KSL News Radio and KSLSports.com. We're counting down the days until BYU basketball returns. 100 days until BYU takes on the Villanova Wildcats. You can listen to that game here on KSL News Radio. We're joined now by BYU basketball star, first-team All-Big 12 performer, Richie Saunders. And Richie, happy to be on board with you, man, talking with you.
Hey, likewise. Happy to be here.
It's exciting times for BYU basketball right now, and it just feels like this program's a rocket ship that has no slowing down. From your vantage point of last year being in a Sweet 16 and a first-team All-Big 12 performer, is the expectation just even higher going into this season?
I mean, I don't know. I think expectations are a pretty outside thing. I honestly try to just kind of look at it like we have a job to do, and we're just gonna do it. We're gonna put our heads down and go to work. I mean, there's so many good guys in the gym, clearly, right? So many good guys on the team. It's gonna be a different team, which is gonna be a fun challenge of itself. But just really excited, and I feel like everybody's just ready just to get to work.
Despite the change in the roster, Richie, just how different has it felt in year two of Kevin Young? The coaching staff is back. Does it just feel like you're way further ahead now than you were at this time last year?
I feel like um it's different, but in the next 3 weeks, I'll have a better answer for you as everybody's gonna be in the gym together, starting Monday. So for the next 3 weeks, we're all in the gym together, and that'll be able to just have more information and all that. But I will say that it's super just direct. Everything that we're doing in practice is direct. It's nice that now they're like the coaching staff can be like, okay, this is A, B, and C that we want to change and do differently. And it's like I'm starting to see it. Just the little different nuances of even practice.
Here with BYU basketball star Richie Saunders here on KSL News Radio, getting ready for counting down to BYU basketball, a much anticipated season. Talk with Richie Saunders. And Richie, you noted that everyone's going to be in the gym coming up on Monday with practice, but you guys have already had some practices dating back to May. What can you tell us about your thoughts on what was accomplished back then in those practice sessions and the look and feel of the team for the guys that were in the annex going through those practices earlier in spring and early part of summer?
Yeah, I mean it's fun. I've been able to play with everybody. Early on it was some of the freshmen were here, and what was it? What was that? Beginning of May? I can't remember. It's been a while, but and then lately now with like Nate, Moo, and Rob, like just some of the newer guys. But talking about back then, it's fun. Just it takes time to just get to play with people, right? And which is a fun thing, but it just simply takes time and takes doing or playing together, takes experience to be able to really just be able to play well together. So I mean, I'd just say we started a good foundation, especially for the young guys early on, and we're just going to keep building on that for everybody.
What have you been working on in your game this summer, and maybe what was some of the feedback you got to get even more ready to take a jump to the NBA?
Um, I mean, there's kind of really just two big things that the summer's been. I think for all the whatever the young people listening or whatever, I just think it's really good every summer just to have maybe one or two things that you're going to work on that you're going to add to your game. And for me, that like this year is being able to handle the ball more, being able to come off ball screens and make the right read. It's been feeling like I'm in a point guard camp or something this whole summer, but which has been really fun because it's just clearly an area of the game that I want to develop. And one of the reasons why I decided to come back is that I wanted to develop in this area, and just add that aspect of being a good ball handler into my game. And I'd say the other thing is just my one-on-one defense, my ability to guard ball screens effectively.
Does KY want to the feedback that maybe KY gave you in exit meetings after last season, did he kind of expand on that as being an area of focus, the point guard, ball handling, to elevate your potential NBA draft stock when that day comes?
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm going to be a point guard, that's just not what I am, but just have the capability to bring up the ball effectively, in just the different situations and do that. But it was just I mean, I feel like it was pretty obvious I started coming out ball screens a little bit more towards the end of the year and just like, wow, it's great to be able to, that I got here. I'm super grateful that I got to this point in my game, but I want to be able to be really efficient at just that coming off ball screens and stuff. But it was with KY, with my agent, like the, it was a very obvious, clear thing that if I can prove that I'm not just a catch and shoot, but I'm able to get downhill, change directions and get downhill, that can only help.
First team guard forward Richie Saunders still with us here in the Cougar Sports Saturday. I remember talking to you before. You guys played a game under the Kevin Young system, and you talked about watching a lot of film with Kevin and it just changing your role a little bit. How much have you enjoyed this different role under Kevin Young and the system he brought to BYU?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I'm 1 year down, and we'll see. Every year has its own life, but I loved doing what I've done my whole career. Before I had to develop into this role a little bit more, but I've always been a scorer and a shooter, and it was a really fun year, and learned so much that I'm going to be taking into my future career. But yeah, nothing but excitement and gratitude.
Richie, why did you turn down even going through the NBA process to come back to BYU and not even go through NBA workouts? Because I think for our listeners, they know that NBA players, prospects, you can come back to school even after going through the process. That's unlike the NFL where you're all in. Why not go through the process and experience that? Why just stick with BYU?
I mean, there's a few things. One, like I already said, is I'm not where I want to be in my game yet. I feel like because I am older, it's more of like a plug and play kind of a situation instead of just straight development. And for me, I'm like I want to come to the table with X, Y, and Z, like all of these things defining who I am as a player. And I just didn't feel like I was ready to just be who I am yet. I wanted to build. Other thing is like it was really hard because there's an opportunity, right? And I think that's the hardest thing is when you have an opportunity, putting that on the shelf and just hoping because you don't I don't know if it's gonna be on the shelf or on the table next year, but I'm doing everything I can to make sure it's there and in a better position. So I'd say development, where I can go in the draft. I was sitting middle to beginning, kind of in that range of second round, and I want to get to that first round. That's my goal. And so, but I'll say just long story short, just the reason I didn't go through all of these workouts and go through even the combine, because you can do that too. But the reason I just decided um to just forego that was honestly, instead of stressing out about these different workouts it's about a 2.5 month process, from the time that you start prepping for workouts to the combine. That's almost 3 months of work that I wouldn't have been able to get in. So I knew that I wasn't who I wanted to be yet. And so I wanted to just take that time and to really get better, to really work. And that's what I've done for the last, now it's been 4 months, which is crazy, but or almost 4 months, but of just straight work, just straight working on these things that I know I need to develop in. Um, and so I didn't want to go through that whole process and still be where I still have all these thoughts um, and be maybe 3.5 months behind. And then, okay, one more thing was there's a lot going on at BYU basketball, and I was just me and my wife as we were really trying to figure out this situation, right? Because it was a hard little decision point. It was like which am I going to regret more kind of a thing. Am I going to wish that I was playing at Arizona on the road, everybody, the place going crazy, or am I going to regret more not being in the league? And when it came down to it, I want to compete for a national championship and do something that BYU has never done before.
100 days until opening tip, that first game against Villanova. You're returning. There's a lot of focus and excitement about the new guys coming in, but there's a lot of guys returning as well. Yourself, Keba Keita, Dawson Baker, to name a few. What have you seen from the guys that were part of the team last year, and how have they developed this summer?
Yeah, I mean they're great guys, and we're all gonna need to. There's a lot of new guys coming in, so we're gonna have to really show what this is what our culture is like, and really help define that. But I mean they've both kind of had to go through some injury rehab and all that, which they're doing, and they're great. And so I'm excited for these next 3 weeks. That's more of the story is I'm excited for these next 3 weeks to see that and see how old meets new in a good way.
When you talk about new, AJ Debons is a big piece to this operation going forward. And I remember asking AJ at his McDonald's All-American press conference, Richie, I asked him, because it was still not clear yet if you were officially coming back. So I said to AJ, what could that pairing between AJ and Richie, you guys together for BYU if Richie does run it back? And AJ, he's pretty quick and to the point. He said it could be something special. And I'm curious, after getting a little bit of practice with him and getting to know him off the court, what do you feel like the duo of you and him could be this season at BYU?
No, I think he said it really well. It's been fun getting to know his game more and seeing how talented he is. And I think that we can really bounce off of each other. Um, he's going to bring a lot of attention, which is great for me as a shooter. And, I think vice versa. And so I'm honestly, I'm excited to see how that works out. And again, we're going to need the next few months to be able to really do that effectively. But I'm nothing but excited for that to see what that all looks like.
A few more moments here with Richie Saunders on Cougar Sports Saturday. I know there's a lot of practice and a lot of chemistry that needs to be built before the opening tip against Villanova, but what do you think of this non-conference schedule that was just announced, where you're going to Madison Square Garden, you're playing UConn in Boston, rematch with Wisconsin at the Delta Center? How exciting is it to play in a non-conference schedule like this, as well as then Big 12 play after that?
Awesome. I mean, I don't want it any other way. Um, it's just simple as that. I'm excited, and we're gonna be prepared, and we're gonna have to be prepared right off the bat. And there's no better way to prepare for the tough Big 12 schedule than doing what we're doing here.
Fun question for you, Richie. And we appreciate all this time here. It's much appreciated. I got to ask, and it was a big story in March. Any carryover with the Tater Tots? Is that going to continue, or is that a one and done? Or you're like, hey, Mitch, please stop asking me about Tater Tots. I mean, that was a big thing in March.
And it was hilarious. But I mean, it's been nice that it's calmed down a little bit, because for a while it was freaking all I was getting everywhere. But no, I mean, we'll see. I'm sure that we'll be running it back a little bit. But I mean, that was an incredible campaign. It was fun to be a part of. They freaking killed it. Orida killed it. And so I'm excited to see what that looks like. But I think the Tater Tot King. I think we're going to be reigning.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, when Napoleon Dynamite rolled in at the Sweet 16, I'm like, man, this is just taking on heights that no one could have envisioned. And it all started with a tweet. Well, Richie, cannot wait for BYU basketball. 100 days. BYU, Villanova, Las Vegas, injected into the veins. We are ready. I know you're going to be in this team. So best of luck during these practices and training camp, and looking forward to the start of an exciting season of Cougar Hoops.
So appreciate you guys.